We should be live now, hopefully.
Okay. So I've used the app, adding the link to your Twitch, and it's like not working.
It should be right now. It looks like we're live now.
Okay.
Everyone's seeing us, which is so good. Oh my god, that was so funny. We were just like streaming for like 10 minutes, thought we were streaming for 10 minutes, and we just realized why we weren't. So there's an echo from Jenna. Great. Well, how do we get... Aaron's going to check that for me. Okay, cool. We'll get this sorted, guys. Thank you so much for your patience. This is super wild.
Someone said there's a huge echo.
Yeah. I can't, but we're going to get it fixed. We'll get it sorted.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll get it sorted.
Yeah. I can't, but...
I'm sorry.
It's okay, we're going to get it figured out.
Yeah. Aaron to the rescue, as per usual, yes.
Love it. Thanks, Aaron.
Who's playing a beat?
I've got my usual hip hop R&B mix in the background.
Love
it. Yeah, I am Skyping into OBS. Adam. We've got Aaron on my tech guru legend. Adam's saying he knows the fix, so please share. Hello, Simone. Hello, Britt. Yeah, the video size is the... I don't know why that's doing it because I've actually locked it, but we're going to get it sorted. We're like 2 seconds away. Do you know what's crazy is we tested this for hours yesterday, all of these things. The audio, the size, we've got the resize happening now. And is Jenna, can you just talk and just see if you're still echoing?
Yeah, I hope I'm not echoing. Let us hope. Sound okay for you guys?
Can't hear.
Cool.
Okay.
Great. Good to know.
Just a slight one.
Aww.
Okay.
Adam, that's so nice of you to.
Yeah. That's why this. Well, Adam streams as well, and I think he definitely understands the tech issues with this this particular streaming platform and trying to Skype people in. It's actually a nightmare. So it's back. Okay.
Thank you for accommodating us, Michelle.
That's okay.
All together.
Let me just try something. Can you both talk now? I just want to see if that's working. Yeah. Jordan, you there? Yeah.
Hi.
Hang on 2 seconds. I'm just...
Aww.
No!
Messages come
it is cute. Everyone's like a community tech meeting of everybody trying to sort it out. No, Casey, I hate technology. It's like the thing that stresses me out the most, and the reason why I do so much testing before I go live, and every time this happens, it's frustrates the shit.
Well handled.
Yeah, well, thank you. We'll get it sorted in a sec. We're close, I think, hopefully. You guys, can you just talk now? I just want to see if the echo's gone. And Jordan? Okay, is there any echo now, guys? Can you just let us know? Because that might have sorted the issue, hopefully. Can't hear either of them. Okay, oh my God. Kill me! Oh my God, I don't know what to do. Okay, so when I turn it up, we get an echo. When I turn it down, we don't. Yeah.
Bye. People in the house.
Yeah.
Seems like a cool house. Are you guys renting it? or
Yeah,
guys stay there permanently? What's the vibe?
hopefully permanently. I think they want to be here. It's incredible. It's definitely a good place to be. So it's a
Awesome.
good location and everything. So hopefully
Yeah,
it is.
fantastic. Are you gonna move out of your place?
Sounding.
Yeah, I'm here for quarantine. Moved out for quarantine. So
Cool,
this
cool.
is a little soft. But yeah, I have my place still. Just don't. I haven't stayed there since quarantine started, just to be safe.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, people are saying that
it-
it's sounding good now, which is great.
Cool.
Thankfully,
Yay!
that's a huge relief to me because the stress levels were on
Rising,
another
huh?
level. Yeah. So should we go?
No, fingers.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for your patience. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I really don't like this happening when I'm live, but it's sometimes unavoidable. So I really appreciate that you're here. Wanted to thank these two incredible powerhouse women for joining the stream today. If you don't know, we've got Jenna McDougal, who's from an incredible band called Tonight Alive, a dear friend of mine, and also an amazing human, one of my favorite humans on the planet, to be honest. And we've also got Jordan Knight, who is one of my favorite photographers, an incredible documenter, and I'm a huge fan of her work, and a storyteller. And I think the thing that I really love and I really wanted to explore today is the relationship between artist and photographer. Quite specifically on tour, I think it's something that's not spoken about that much, about how important that relationship is. And there's, there's a lot of trust involved and a lot of really solid friendships that are created, I think, not only just on tour, but to even get to the point where you're actually touring with a band. So definitely wanted to talk about that and explore all of that. And how are you both anyway? How are you been in this weird, time? How are you feeling?
You first, Jodie.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, I'm good. I've struggled a lot, I think, first for just trying to figure out the whole mentality, crazy busyness lifestyle. Forcing yourself to just not do anything is really tough, especially when you're seeing so much happening on social media. You assume everyone's being so productive, and when you're forced to decide, your mental health is something that can go haywire when you're forced to sit in one tiny space and basically you're forced to be in front of your own emotions. So it was pretty rough at the beginning, but you learn, and I'm able to finally get through that and start feeling a little bit more creative again and motivated, which is really nice. So
awesome.
Yeah, feeling pretty good at the moment. Lots of good health and focusing on my well-being pretty much, which is really nice.
Awesome. And you, Jenna, how are you? We spoke about this briefly before, but how are you finding everything?
Yeah, I've finally, I feel like I've leveled out. I'm feeling grounded and relaxed and peaceful and all of the good things. But I really feel like I had to earn that. It didn't knock me over at the start, but I kind of, in the last 2 months, I feel like the middle of it just kind of collapsed a little bit. And yeah, like Jordan said, you're really forced to face yourself, face your thoughts, your feelings, your memories, your triggers, all of that stuff. So yeah, that stuff was coming up for me. But no, it's been really good, and I really like being the I don't want to say governor. I forget what word I'm looking for, but I like to oversee my life, and I like to be disciplined, and I want to I want to master.
Yes.
Personal life. So that's what I focused on, and yeah, a lot of that involves attentiveness and to mental health and self-care and health and wellness.
Yeah.
So that's my main focus, and it's helped creativity as well, like Jordan said. So it's I echo everything that you're feeling.
When you said when I said before that you're one of my favorite humans, I think this is one of the reasons why, is that you're always working on yourself. And I feel like you have taught me to be a better human because of the way that you're constantly challenging, and the way that you think, and the way that you communicate. So it's one of my favorite things about you. I just wanted to give everybody a little bit of background on the two of you in case they're not aware of you both. Jenna, do you want to just give a little bit of background about your career and, you know, your band life, I guess? I'm going to show some of your clips while you're talking as well.
Exciting. Yeah, cool. And let us know when you want us to like talk about what comes up on the screen too. Cool. Just do a quick tiny snapshot. I'm a vocalist in a band called Tonight Alive. We formed in Sydney, Australia in 2008, and we've been making records and touring ever since. But currently we're on the only ever break/hiatus that we've ever taken as a band, which kind of has looked like a year and a half off the road, which is totally foreign territory for us. It's like we were way too, like, not addicted, but very, very driven and like so tunnel vision about what life looked like as touring musicians. And it was a very one-dimensional life in a way. So it's been really good to like step outside of what touring for 9 months out of a year looks like and playing 250 shows a year looks like. And like the only ever breaks you take, you're getting therapy and you're writing another record. Like, so it feels so good to like get a grip and like have a personal life and have consistency and stability. I never have ever had that, you know, maybe since like childhood. I mean, maybe since high school, but that's such a tumultuous time as well.
Yes,
so
yes.
I like I've just stepped into adulthood because, you know, touring kind of like captures you, and being an artist captures you a little bit, and it keeps you like in this, I don't know, what is it called when you're in like a cryo freeze thing? You know what I mean? It's like you're like, you are this. Stay there, like don't move, don't go anywhere, just keep doing what you're doing. It's like I'm like free of that at the moment, and I hope to stay free of that. That's a little bit about my career and the current like state of it.
And Jordan, do you want to give a bit of a background into your own, I guess, musical photography journey? I'm going to show a bit of your work up on the screen as well while you're talking.
So yeah, obviously Jordan is my name. I think I basically started as, you hear the typical story of, I had a camera when I was little and I was obsessed with it, and that's 100% true for me as well. I've had Polaroids when I was very young. I was always the one at my friends' birthday parties to put together an entire slideshow of all the photos I've taken over the years of them. I was just always obsessed with capturing memories. I was a very nostalgic person, always had photo books. So that's, I guess, where it kind of started for me. And then I have this crazy weird story where I did a bunch of random things. I went to hair school for a little bit. I kind of switched to do a little bit of modeling and all these weird different things. And then I found myself when I was dating Maddie, which is the drummer in Jen's band, and Tonight Alive. And I kind of just was occasionally taking photos of you guys here and there, taking memories, doing it for fun. And then over time, we just realized how much we got along and we loved to be creative together. And it just started from there, and it kind of just got to the point where I was completely 100% touring with them all the time, became a photographer full-time, touring photographer. I knew I loved it. I knew that's what I wanted to do. And then life kind of switched about 1.5 years, 2 years ago now. And I did my last like big run of tours with Jen was Warped Tour 2018, which will be almost 2 years exactly, which is crazy. And then I kind of stopped doing touring photography at that point and just looked at my life and was trying to figure out what it was I wanted to do next. What's my next step, especially with my career. And I ended up actually going on tour with Hoodie Allen which was like my first tour going with someone I had no idea who they were. So it was really nerve-wracking I had no idea what I was going to do, the relationship, how, because I was so used to this beautiful connection with Jen for so many years. And it was so easy and we loved being creative. But Steven and I got along super well also, and toured with him a couple times, which was amazing. And then ended up moving to LA about a year and 4 months ago ish. And then started doing portrait stuff here and started pretty much moving my whole career into fashion, which has been really great. In a lot of different things. Wedding stuff has always been in my career path as well. So I don't know, I'm kind of just all over the place. But yeah, I'm here in LA now, just basically doing anything I can get my hands on creatively. And yeah, that's where I am. That's me.
Jody.
It's, I mean, it's great that you've been able to make that transition into, you know, fashion photography. Music and fashion, I think, are really closely connected anyway. There's some amazing comments that are coming through for your work. Jordan, Ruby said, you're such a great photographer, love your work. Maggie said, Jordan, the talent is unreal. Danny said, Jordan was one of the reasons I got into live music photography. Sierra said, your live shots are unreal, been such a huge inspiration. And Beth Ross said, your work is incredible. Thank you so much for all the comments that are coming through. We all feel the love. This is really great. You are such a beautiful photographer. I think I became familiar with your work through, I think, some friends that were, I think, maybe on the Warped Tour. I think it was even before I knew of Jenna. I had seen your work and was just blown away. And I'm always impressed when I see a female music photographer. I know, especially on things like Warped Tour and stuff, like, you know, entirely male-dominated kind of genres. And I know that it can be a challenge, so we'll talk about some of that stuff as well. But I guess I wanted to go more into the relationship that you two have together. Was the relationship for you two instantaneous? Was it just like you met and it was like friends, or did it take a while to build up?
Yeah. Let me just tell you, literally one of the nights I met Jen, she talked me into coming all the way to Australia from Atlanta, never left the country. To surprise Matt at the time, she talked me into doing that, and that was like literally, and I stayed with her in Sydney. To say the least, our relationship was very good from the start, I think.
Yeah, the night we met, we went to a bar in New York, and neither of us are like big drinkers at all, but like we had shots and we got like those big New York slice pizzas, and we just bonded, and like no one else mattered. Like, you weren't there for like anybody else but, you know, your partner at the time, but like we just like brought the whole world into you and me. It was a very cool instant connection.
You do definitely have a knack for that, Jenna. I definitely felt that the first time I met you as well. There was just like such an instant connection. But actually both with you and Dale, I felt like we had a really instant connection that day. We were like, oh, no, we're going to be friends now. That's just how it is. Like, you do.
I guess when you meet people with an open, it's so easy to just like, you don't need walls, and you just come from like a really natural place when you feel safe with someone instantly. So yeah, I definitely have that kind of relationship with both of you. It's really beautiful to see that it was like that from the start. It's very cool. I guess I wanted to touch on I guess both of your because it's a question that I get all the time, so I know that there'll be people that will be interested in this, but what is it like being a female on tour? Because I think there are quite specific and different challenges. Do you want to both tell us, I guess, your experiences with what that is like? Because I think there's some quite specific things that people don't think about before, you know, jumping on a bus with mostly guys, you know?
Yeah, Jenny girl, take it away.
All right. It's like loaded, you know, it's almost a loaded question. I guess I'll start by saying that because it's the only reality I've known, I guess it seems kind of like it's always going to just feel like it's pretty normal. And doing it from a young age as well, you don't know any different. I guess like so much of my identity has been developed in that space of like it's not quite energetically balanced between masculine and feminine, and you learn to like fit in, and you don't want to stand out because you already stand out enough, so you kind of morph yourself a little bit and you shave off your edges so that you fit into like the box a bit. I know I'm being really vague right now. It's just hard. I think it's actually really hard to discuss because one, it is your reality, and two, like the people I've toured with are my best friends as well. But like the difference between being male and female, like it does, you learn to like, you're quite protected, you're quite private, but at the same time, being so close with the guys, like I was allowed a lot of like concession or whatever, like they were understanding to my needs, and like it might be really different for me being a lead singer than what it would be being a photographer or another crew member. I feel like, I think I had a lot of a lot of people like looking out for me, so I feel like it'd be different for you guys. So I'm sorry I didn't really give too much info just then. I might be able to expand on what someone else says. Geordie, maybe, you know, for you coming into like a touring crew, what it was like. Do you
I think obviously with maybe with my situation it would be a little bit difficult as well, just because I did start out my career with you guys as being a partner of someone in the band, but not saying that it's all on that. It's just that started the way it was. And I think the hard thing for me being a female going in a touring world for my particular situation was to not be seen as the girlfriend of one of the bands. So it was it was a hard situation, a line of trying to draw. I'm a professional here for my job, but I'm also dating someone in the band. So it was like a line that I had to draw very carefully. But with that being said, my things as well when it came to that world was trying to balance a relationship and a professional relationship with everyone in the band as well, which can be hard, but it is a hard thing when you come into a situation as a female, into a world of mostly males. I think the biggest thing is just to try and be taken seriously as a professional. That can be tough. So I think for me, I'm a bit of a pushover. I always kind of have been. So my thing was always, be as nice as possible, and people will treat me better and everything. It's sometimes assertiveness, and that's actually one of the things that I will say Jen has taught me really well is you have to be assertive sometimes. It isn't rude. It's just people have to understand it's a profession. This is what you're here for. Confidence was always a thing that I had a really hard time with, because if you're too confident, then you look like, the B word, whatever. So it's hard. It's a really hard place for a female to come in that sense. If that makes sense.
It makes so much sense, and there's so much that you said has resonated with me personally. I think Jenna has also taught me that in my short time of knowing her in terms of being more, just speaking my truth and being more assertive in that. Even though I am incredibly assertive, she's even taught me to I just do it in a different way, which I really appreciate. But one thing that really resonated with me is that I've never ever seen, I've never wanted to see my gender as a disadvantage, and I used to actually hate this question. It used to really annoy me. But it's something that I think is almost unavoidable, because there are different barriers, there are different challenges, it is a struggle to be taken seriously. I've definitely heard that bands don't want female photographers for certain reasons. Other people, like potentially wives, might be upset, or like there's just different barriers. So it's like, I don't want to use it as an excuse, and I don't want to say, oh my God, it's so hard, because for me personally, I've had an incredibly blessed journey, and I have been able to tour with an incredible group of humans that do treat me quite equally. But I think the conversation is important to know that it happens and it's okay, and we can talk about it and we can share those stories, and in the sharing there's like a mutual understanding, and it's not a victim complex. It's just like, you know,
Right.
Yeah. So
That's how it is.
yeah, it is.
It's cool to hear you guys talk about it.
Yeah.
And it's not like you were saying, you feel like you had quite a blessed journey, and I feel the same way. I've had a really beautiful time. I've been very blessed to have Jen, a female that I get to be so close with, so connected, and share a lot of moments that I wouldn't be able to share if I was working for a man. You know, it is a little different, and so I've been really lucky to have a beautiful connection that way. And then the people that I've worked with who are males have been amazing to me.
Yep.
You know, I've had a lot of respect, a lot of being taken care of in the best way possible as a professional. So yeah, I agree. I think it is, the balance is there. We do get a lot of beautiful moments with, especially on our journeys, as you said as well. It's good to speak on these things, because it is true though, like with what we've just spoken on.
Yeah, I think the other thing that Jenna, that you touched on briefly, was about the kind, not minimizing, but I know that's something that I'm really conscious of, even in just the way that I present or dress, or like there is not a minimizing, but a neutralizing almost. Does that make sense? Like it's not being, not being like overly feminine, sometimes actually just being one of the boys. I think most people that are part of the crew can definitely relate to that, where you just want to blend in and be chill, and just, you're in your trackies and your hoodies every day, and that's becomes part of your life. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that point too, because I feel like that is, not that it should be like that, but it's definitely something that I've always done to kind of just fit in, and I don't know, it's a hard thing to verbalize, I think.
It really is. I don't know if we have like enough experience talking so candidly about it, like, because I kind of feel like we're not even ripping into like what the dirt of the situation looks and feels like at times, and what those challenges, because even right now I feel like we might even be trying to be polite and be like protective about our touring crews, and like, trying not to be like, I'm different, so I have like a problem, and here's my I don't know, you know what I mean? Like we're always trying to draw attention away from ourselves, and that in itself is one of the problems that comes.
Totally.
But I have found that, like, the fitting in and being one of the boys thing, which I 100% did for years, was really limiting, like coming into womanhood, and like, I just really felt like, I really owned it for a while. I was like, I am androgynous, and I'm not an overly feminine person, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, given the space to actually explore that, removing the potential judgments, comments, and like sideways glances, removing all of that, it's like, oh, there's actually space for me to explore that and find where that sits for me coming into womanhood, growing up a little bit, and exploring self and stuff like that. And I think we did have the type of space and relationship, Geordie, where we had each other's support, and that it kind of fortified the fact that we deserved and needed different things to what the guys did, and that we had that grace, we were given that grace of people understanding, because there was a louder voice with two of us.
Yes.
So anyway.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's a nice really segue into the next topic about what is tour life really like. And I was going to ask, is it great to have that extra female companion on tour? Because I know for me personally, that person for me was Rule's mum. So when we were on tour, she was my person, and like, if we wanted to go shopping during the day because we had a day off, that was the person that I went with and just had that time apart. And it really... it sounds so silly, but just to have someone that you can just maybe want to do a girly thing now and again. Like I'm not even that girly. Like I actually do love hanging out with the boys as much as possible, but sometimes just having that break, So yeah, well, I just wanted to get your opinion on what that really is like, and is it great having the two of you as that solid friendship on tour?
Your question cut out. I'm so sorry. The actual last.
Just what tour life is really like, and was it great having that, you know, buddy in each other, for the, you know, the harsh reality of tour sometimes isn't that glamorous.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Jordy, do you want to go ahead?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we, like Jen said at the beginning of this, when I joined in, which was, I don't even remember, like 2015, 13, 14, I don't know. So it was so long ago. Either way, when I joined in, it was touring constantly. Like it was very rare to have a big break. And so you're on the road a lot. And Jen and I got super close straight away because you're literally roommates with someone 24/7. And Jen's been doing it since high school. So it's like, that's what life is and was for us at the time. And it's very raw. I mean, you're going to sleep at night, sometimes taking a bottle shower, oftentimes barely having enough water coming out of the spout to barely wash the face or something, and then, you know, brushing your teeth with bottles of water because you don't want to use truck stop water. You know, there's just plenty of raw things that happen every single night that you just get used to it, and it's fine. But Jen and I definitely, we are both very health conscious people, and she's made me that way over the years, which is really great. So we definitely got away from tour life as much as we could have on a regular basis just to try and take care of ourselves. Jen was great with doing yoga, and we would go, one time we went to floating in the sea salt baths to get, I don't know, there's just all these things we try to do every single day to get away from everyone and try and take care of ourselves. Just walking outside the bus and like looking into the sun, closing our eyes for like 10 minutes in the morning was special, you know?
Oh, totally. So, yes. And
there's lots more, but Jen, please add.
Oh yeah, I guess like touring, you know, part of it's like, it's what you make it. Like Jordy said, we went and did these floats in Denver. Like that was cool. And you know, we went to these Turkish baths once. You know, there's so many days that were like miserable days, because you don't know, you could be touring in any season. And I just remember so many American tours where it was just like grey, overcast and cold all the time. And, you know, isolations reminded me a lot of tour in that, like, I don't feel limited here, but like there was wake up, you look outside the window. This is actually what happens every day when you wake up from your bunk. You like look out your window, you're like, where am I? You would know, yeah. And you're like, what does the street look like? Yeah. What does the venue look like? You're like trying to get your bearings and just pull it together. And sometimes, you know, I'd get off the bus pretty much in pajamas, but put a coat on or something. And like, those are times when it's like, that's tricky because a lot of people will line up outside the venue and, you know, you wake up and you're like, do I choose to be on, or do I choose to be someone who just woke up that just wants to find a bathroom, find food, like find a clinic where I can get a massage or acupuncture, or like, what do I need today? It's like, you're on survival mode. You have to think about like, what do I need to get by and to make tonight a good show? Didn't sleep well last night. How am I going to counteract that today? I forget like where I was going with this, but like, oh yeah, you know, there's just those miserable overcast days. So it's like, I find that in isolation, I'm looking out my window going like, what kind of day is it? Like, what can I make of this day? And yeah, I don't know. We'd always look for a vegan restaurant. We'd look up like, can we go and get a facial? Is there like an Ulta Beauty nearby? So Ulta in America is like Sephora here. Yeah. And it's like, can we just go see what's on special and buy a face mask or something? Like Jordan gave me so much relief in touring because I actually didn't have a buddy while we were touring. It's like, it's not that everyone was out for themselves, but in my touring crew is like, you know, some people are like really into like exercising. So people will get off the bus first thing in the morning and take their laptop into a venue, get the weights out of the back of the trailer, go and work out for like an hour. That's kind of like the guys were pretty into that. And some people like to stay in their bunks until sound check. It's like everyone just has to do it the way that their body is asking. But Geordie and I, we had a lot of fun, and a lot of we actually brought nurturance into touring. Like when we'd get a day room at a hotel, it's like we'd both have our time having a bath or shower, and then we'd get into the hotel bed and watch a movie together.
I love that so much.
We made sure we were laughing as much as we possibly could. Like there is so many times where you could just be like, oh, this is the worst. I'm in the middle of Kansas or something and nothing around, and or Texas, you're in, what is it, El Paso you go through, and it's like terrible. Anyway, it's great. Sorry if you're from there. It's great. You try and laugh. We just force ourselves to laugh, and if we aren't in a good mood and we did this weird little laugh to each other, it made us laugh. You had to just do that all most days. You just laugh at everything.
I love that so much.
It'll probably come up, Michelle, when we go through the photos that we sent you. But Jordan's the only photographer that would take the request and pointer from me that was if the band's just had an argument, take photos, don't stop. And I've said that to other photographers before, and they're they never listened, and it's okay because you got to be comfortable. But I really invited Geordie into that space for the band, and when I was going through your Dropbox, I found a couple of photos where I knew that there had been an argument seconds before, and everyone's just doing different things, just going fuck. It's so precious to have that safety within your crew, with one member of the crew or with your photographer especially. It totally changes.
Yeah,
it changes the experience.
It was literally the next question that I was going to ask, and I'm going to pull up your photos that you chose. So between the two of you came, there's 10 photos that I'm going to show that I guess we can talk about and why they're kind of special to you. But the question really was, how important is it to have that kind of trust between the two of you? Because I think that is one of the most important things that's not spoken about, but there is a real sense of trust, and I think especially on tour, about when to take photos, when not to take photos. Sounds like, Jenna, you actually like it as much as possible, which is so great. I'll pull up those photos. Let me just grab them.
Yeah, cool.
Lost Jordan's face, but I will sort that out.
There's nothing like because Jordan would shoot all day and through the show.
Yeah.
And then, do you mind me talking while you're doing
it's
that?
perfect. Well, I resized. She's just resized for some stupid reason. Even though I've locked her channel, but she's resizing. She wants to take over the whole screen, which is fine.
Perfect. Yeah, no, Jordan would shoot all day through the show, backstage, everything, and then she would edit and send us a link.
Yes.
By the time I got on the bus at night and I could go through the photos Jordan had taken, or sit with you at the little table on the bus and watch you edit and say, oh, I really like this, I don't like that. So we were very involved and invested in that. And where was I even going with this? It was just, it helped keep perspective, and looking back now as well at the photos, it's there's precious moments all the time. One of the photos that you were scrolling on Jordan's website was my sister massaging me, and I think it was in, I don't know, it was in Berlin or something, and I was so not happy, not okay, not even close to being healthy, miserable, to be honest. And my sister lived in England at the time and came out, and there's a cute photo of me just being all grumpy with no makeup on, and my sister massaging me. It's
I love that.
Touring has a lot of precious moments like that, and it's so important and beautiful to have a relationship with your photographer where you get to savor more than just the show, more than just looking good on stage or looking powerful, or who cares? There's so much more than that, and I loved being able to experience the rawness in reflecting on the through the photos. Cool.
I've
I agree.
pulled up one of the photos too, so we can like segue. It's the first one that was just in the Dropbox that Jordan sent, so we can segue into talking about this particular image. But I think you just really touched on something really important and really beautiful. And again, it's just having that trust and the fact that. Which is really common, Jordan's got the photos ready for you to look through, and then you get to check them out and see what you're happy with, and that whole process. I was going to talk to you a bit about as well. Is that like there's an approval process before anybody would post anything? Is that how it usually works?
Yeah, definitely.
It's a trust system, as a photographer, you know you're working for that band or that person, and it's their personal life. If I've always been the one to say, hey, I love this photo, privately to somebody, and say, I love this photo so much, but do you like it? Obviously, is it okay if I post it? If they are unhappy with something, with themselves, I never take offense to any of that. I know it's their personal life, but I know that that's the reason why I asked in the first place. That's a trust system with anyone that you're working for, and I think that's extremely important that you're speaking to who is in that photo just to make sure that that's okay. That's
totally
very important.
I've spoken about this particular issue a few times, and I'm really big on this as well. Like, I will always get permission before I post something to make sure that they're okay with it. And I think it comes from actually working really closely with artists and understanding that potentially they might not like something for a reason that is like completely outside the scope of what we would even be thinking of, and that's okay. And artists are human, and like having empathy in those situations. If they don't want it posted, then you don't post it, even if I feel like it's the best photo I've ever taken. It's just like that respect.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That must be tricky, guys. As photographers, it must be hard because you can see a good photo, and then if the subject doesn't like it, I mean, you have to have humility to be able to say, it's okay, I'll take another photo just as good or better. Like another time, and just let this one go. No one's ever going to see it, and that's kind of a shame, but like it must take a little bit of like selflessness as a photographer.
Do you want to touch on that, Jordan, how that like
I think just being able to, like I was saying earlier, there's a line between being confident, I think, and being a bit of a pushover, and I think that is always going to fall under the category of respect, and it has nothing to do with that. That is your job. You're there to take photos of someone, not to better your portfolio. That isn't what you're there for. So I think when it comes to confidence, that isn't being confident, oh, I'll post this, it doesn't matter. That's a respect issue at that point, I think. It's hard. It's really hard, because then you see a photo and you're like, oh, this is incredible. Why? I need this to be seen by other eyes. But that's when your relationship with the person is more important, and you need to obviously be considerate as a human being, and just know that if they don't like it for whatever reason that is, that's the line. That's unfortunate, but it's true. And it's just respect, I think. Totally. It's a nice gesture to not post something private like that, or of something they don't like.
Totally. Thanks to all the people that are contributing in the chat. I can see there's some really great conversation going on. I just wanted to point out, I didn't actually notice, but the subscriber goal has just gone up an incredible amount, and we're like 10 away from meeting my goal, which is insane. I just like saw it and was like, wait, when did that happen? So thank you to all those who have subscribed during this particular chat. I know that Adam gifted a bunch of people before we actually came live, so thank you so much to Adam as well. That's so generous and kind. Gorgeous. I really wanted to move into the photos that were selected and why they were selected. I've put I don't know if you guys have got Twitch up on your phones or not, but the first photo is a photo of Jenna, and she's reaching out to someone, I think either in the audience or maybe security even, I'm not sure, but I'd love to hear the story behind this particular photo.
This was I think New Jersey or New York, and we have some of the coolest shows in America in that area. And this is like a sunset set, and during our show on Warped Tour, I'd always have people crowd surf to the front, but before we did that, I'd get everyone to draw their attention to the security guards. We'd give them a round of applause. We'd say these guys are the real rock stars, the real heroes. And you can actually see one of the security guards' faces, like he's pretty stoked under the arm.
Yeah.
That's part of what I really love about this photo, even though it's like kind of a minor detail. But we'd get everybody to like G them up, and then we'd have everyone crowd surf, and there'd be like a really non-violent, gentle catching of the crowd and sending off, and I'd give people high fives. So I guess I just love this photo so much because of the angle. Like Geordie shot in such a personal way. A lot of my favorite photos from Warped were always from this spot, you know, right at the front speaker of the stage, when I was like really launching out to the audience. So I don't know, just I love that this captures the emotion, like the elation and like the joy of like connecting with people, and that Jordan's actually there to capture that is so cool. I also love how the stage is black and the sky's white, and it kind of like divides down the middle. It's just kind of a quintessential like Warped Tour live shot to me.
Beautiful.
Just really tasteful.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love it.
Awesome. Anything you wanted to add, Jordan, to that particular memory?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Warped Tour was Jen for some reason was so good at remembering, I feel like, dates and places, and for me, I was just like, don't know when that was. I have no idea. It was 2 years ago, maybe a year ago, I don't know. But yeah, I specifically remember from those moments, I guess, from this photo especially, it's just like, it's hard for bands to appreciate the security guards. That's like one thing that's like, they're there to help to bring safety to everyone. And yeah, I just loved the fact that Jen was always like, you know what, here we are, I'm gonna introduce you to the people that are keeping you safe. You're probably about to crowd surf and you're gonna meet with them anyway, so here you go. And they were always so stoked and really happy to be there, which is something that you don't see that often either. Like there's often times I look down at the security guards and they're like bobbing their heads, like loving me. So it's just like those moments that when I see this photo, it's just like those particular security guards, especially on that Warped Tour, the whole thing, they're just so stoked to be there. So it was like nice to capture not only Jen like acknowledging them, but them having a good time as well.
Awesome.
Before things got crazy, you know, with crowd surfers or whatever. You can see someone crowd surfing in the back of the photo as well.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm just going to move on to the next photo.
Right.
This is a very, I don't know what's happened here. I can't wait to hear this story. But someone asked a question, Aaron asked a question, which we can maybe touch on about your post process, Jordan, and the steps that you take to get the light right in the camera. Well, let's maybe incorporate that into this hilarious photo, which is so funny.
Jenny, what do you feel about this one?
I'll quickly explain why I chose to share this photo, and then we should definitely hear about your post process. I just chose to share this photo because it represents our relationship. Like we'd actually just gone, it's kind of like approaching sunset, and we'd just gone off to like the forest to do some portraits, and they're actually such gorgeous portraits, and I wanted to involve them, but like this is funnier to me because like we know that like we can take a good photo together, but this is us like this busted up car, and like I was like, hey Jordan, that's just us mucking around. Like there's not really much more to that. It's just a post-show photo right after we've done portraits, and this is us just
being silly,
playing and having fun.
I love it. It's super cute.
Like I was saying, we have to laugh. That was Tour, because on Warped Tour you're much further into the raw moments of just terrible time. Could be terrible times, but you gotta laugh about it. It's real hot. You're sticky. There's not a lot of water. You gotta the Warped Tour is one of those times where you truly do have to make some fun every single day, because
kind of delirious.
Yeah.
Honestly, for every like nice photo Jordan's ever taken, there's one of me going like, I don't know, that's not even the dumbest face I can pull, but like,
Yeah.
there's a really lovely portrait that'll come up, and like I wanted to show how like 2 shots later, it's a completely different mood. Like that's the trust once again. with the
Yeah,
photographer. But
Danny just
back to you.
Danny just said in the chat as well that Jordan has a knack for capturing Jenna's personality, which I completely agree, and it's definitely shown in this photo, which is such a good choice.
That's the trust again. I think it's knowing someone and knowing when they'll like that moment. And really what I learned to do was take as many clicks as I can in 1 second, because there's always going to be a moment where there's an imperfection of some sort, one eye blinking, I don't know, there's just always going to be something. So it's just, like I said, obviously with trust and a connection, it's also just shooting as much as you possibly can. Yeah, that's a big one too.
I completely agree. I'm also a overshooter. And you get back for the edit and you're like, oh, I've got to edit 1,500 photos. Woohoo! I've just pulled up another photo.
It's absolutely
Yes. It's the worst and the best, you know. I've just pulled up another photo if you guys want to talk about this particular one. I'm not sure. Is it another warped one, or is it just another tour?
Yeah. To be honest, I actually chose all photos from Warped / the Underworld tour.
More recent, which is good.
Yeah, they're the most recent photos we shot together, and also I just feel like Geordie's work came up so much in like 2018. It's like your work like changed. It took on a whole new form, and like the reason I love this photo is there's a lot of photos that we did like this where Jordan would go out into the crowd and maybe you'd go like 10 rows back or something like that. And I loved that the perspective Jordan was shooting was as if she was an audience member. And that's what I like about this photo so much. And, you know, I really love the power in my like body language a lot. And the fact that I'm pointing that far out to me says like, it's probably a really big crowd. The photo doesn't necessarily suggest that. You don't see much context, but like basically this is just for me an example of my favorite like technique of Jordan's, which was shooting from the crowd. You're not, you know, people can't really relate to the photo pit photos or the side stage photos. Like most people can't relate to that perspective. So this was just a really personal way of showing people what the experience of a live show with Tonight Alive was like.
Oh, I love that. That's and do you remember taking this particular photo, Jordan?
Well, the thing that stuck out the most to me in this particular photo is remembering that Warped Tour was the same setup every single day for the most part. Like a festival run that, how many dates was it, Jen? It was like something ridiculous. We had like barely any days off at some point. Like I can't remember the exact number of days, but I think it was like something crazy, like 18 or 20 days straight without a day off. Yeah. And so anyways, my point is you have so many days where it's the same exact setup. And for me, it was always hard. I'd get done shooting and I'd feel just a little bit down because I was like, okay, this was good. This was a good setup. It's just the same as yesterday. So it was like trying to figure out where I can go to change it up. And like Jen said, it's nice to put yourself in the perspective of the viewer's eye. So I know a lot of people who were looking at my photos were in the crowd. So it's like, well, what if they're going to be excited to see the things that they got to see as well? So it was like a mixture of, obviously they want to see those things behind the scenes because you don't get to see that. So obviously that is a big part of it. But then you want to have that memory for them that they get to relive a photo that they got to see, you know, in person. So it was like that photo, it's like, I know that I stretched myself to find places to shoot, and that one in particular was to be, you know, 10 people back in the crowd, or, you know, whatever it was. You know, I tried to do that every day, was mixing it up and trying to go further back or closer up, or, you know, It's hard. It's tough when when it's
Yeah, Ali Mays just asked
What was it
a
like?
question about the lens for that particular shot. That's a good tech question. Is it a 70-200 or can you remember?
Yeah, 200, 2.8, 2, I think. Yeah, 2.8. So yeah.
What up to Josiah? Just
What
joined,
was-
just followed the stream, so legend.
What's that? Oh,
Yeah.
Hi, Josiah.
Yeah, hello. Nice to see
Geordie,
you.
I was going to say, what was it like going through the crowd? Was it a problem for you, like navigating it? Has it been at shows with security or with the crowd or whatever? Like, have you,
Great question.
how did you?
Whoa.
Yeah.
big question.
I know.
There were
Thanks.
so many things to answer that question. Honestly, I just want to obviously point out one really cool thing. Jen did this thing on Warped where it made me feel so much better. She would like introduce me to the crowd at one point during the show and just be like, hey, if you see this girl running around, this is my photographer, be nice to her, like she's, whatever. So it was really nice to just be kind of introduced in that way, because then if people did see me, they would either kind of let me in front of them, or obviously not do the normal where I'm a girl and I have 2 huge lenses and a camera here and I'm trying to get through the crowd, trying not to be rude and trying not to take away from someone's experience, but also I know that I need to like maneuver my way into this spot because I can see this photo that I want to get, So it's hard to, it's every single day was a different crowd, and oftentimes I got really nice people. I even had people say, do you want me to put you on my shoulders? I'd be like, I'm okay on that, but that's nice. So you do get really nice people, but then yeah, you definitely get people who are a bit maybe a bit more standoffish or egotistical, kind of in a way where they're just like, no, like I'm not moving or whatever,
Right.
Or the security guards who, you have a lot of people who tend to be a bit more of a powerhouse. They want to they're in charge. They want to be in charge.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get by those people as well. So it's just a big mixture. I think it's always been good to just be nice to people as well.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever going, just going up to someone and just flashing I'm important and I'm here to shoot. This is my band I'm working for. Usually it's like, hey, before the show even starts, I'm going to go introduce myself to these security guards. I'm going to go talk to whoever's in charge over here. Just let them know I'm a photographer for the band. I'll be running around, just to save yourself the hassle that it's going to be during the show, save you time. So yeah, I think it all comes with like a pre-plan, just going into it thinking, how can I make this the easiest way for me? And usually with security guards, it's going up to them first and just introducing yourself. They're usually really nice, and that's all that matters.
Such a good tip. Yeah. I've pulled up another photo now, which is a really cool portrait, which I assume maybe a backstage or something. I'd love to hear the story behind this. This is so cute. I love the glasses, Jenna.
Yeah, this is backstage.
Like one of the shows, right?
What's that?
It was one of the last shows on Warped Tour.
Yeah, it was. Actually, to be honest, this doesn't have a lot of this like a story to it, but maybe again, this is like, it might not scream this to viewers, but for me, this is like a relationship trust photo as well, where like I probably wouldn't squat like that and look as relaxed for a portrait for a stranger. I probably wouldn't do that. But I don't have even that experience anymore because of working with you for so long. So that's pretty much it. This is like just before going on stage. I don't think I put eye makeup on that day. I think I was just like, I can't be bothered. I'm wearing glasses. It's just nice. Like there's another one that'll come up that it's just like straight down the barrel of the camera, like being relaxed and stuff. I think once again, that's not something I can turn on. I don't know what it's like for other artists or subjects that you guys have shot, but it definitely being relaxed is something again that's like earned for me with a photographer. So that's pretty much the story behind this photo.
Yeah.
Also, I see Lewis and the thing. I just wanted to say hi. Hi, Lewis.
Hello to everyone that's joined us. It's there's lovely
It's
chat
lovely.
going on. It's so great. It's really beautiful to see. That's actually, it was you kind of answered one of the questions, Jenna, anyway, with that particular photo in terms of what draws you to a photo when you're looking at stuff. I've just gone on to the next one as well, but is there something that it's always great to get the artist's perspective to why they like a certain photo, I guess.
Yeah.
What are the things that make you really love a photo?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. I feel like this represents me in that, again, my body language is really relaxed and I'm looking straight at the camera and there's only a slight smile. You know, there's kind of just like a reserved, relaxed energy about it. And contrary to like a live shot where I might be like really intense or whatever else I might be doing. I guess, I like a photo when I feel that it represents me. And often you'll find that you gravitate towards a photographer when they can capture you in a way that's like authentic to you. Like the worst thing you can see is a photo where you're like, who the fuck am I looking at? That's so, if it's unflattering, it's like you might actually feel a little bit distanced from a photographer, I find, when you don't like how you look in the photo. You're like, well, it's kind of like it makes me feel like, well, they're not on the money. They're not taking everything into account. Like, of course, a good photo might be when it's all in focus, lovely lighting, cool composition. But if the subject doesn't look good, then it kind of, it depreciates the quality of the photo and it might make me feel less connected to the photographer. So I don't know if that helps a little bit.
Yeah, it's probably the most articulate answer that I've heard in that on that particular topic. So and I've heard that before from other artists, just not in such an open space, which I think it's actually really important because it's something that I've mentioned before about, as a photographer, if you see, you're going through your photos and deciding what to post, if there's a hesitation to think, oh, I don't know if they would like this photo, then probably don't post it. That would be my thoughts usually around that. Do you feel the same way, Jordan, in that regard?
Yeah, for sure. Usually your intuition is correct. You're feeling that way. The biggest thing is you just communication at that point. It's hard because you do want to post whatever you want to post, but that intuition is usually right. If there's like a little bit of hesitancy, that's probably it's there for a reason. That's important to listen to as well.
Completely. I've pulled up another photo now, which is another live shot. Do you want to tell us the story behind this, Jenna?
I chose to share this photo because of how you shot it. Not even I like the photo, like I like how I look in it. I don't think there was a whole set of them with different moods, but I just wanted to show you off and like have you explain, Jordan, like how you took that photo, because it looks like a portrait, but I'm wondering how far away you were when you shot that. Like it's in an amphitheater, so it's not like harsh sun, but I don't understand like how you actually got that photo.
Like I said, you're definitely forced to find different spots, and when venues look so similar all the time. And it was always a really tough time for me when we had an amphitheater show because you don't have really nice sunlight. Oftentimes it's really busy in the back, and it can be really tough. But this one in particular was shot on the 70-200 again. I was probably in the crowd, to be honest. If it looks like I was just like left side of the stage and a bit further back behind a couple of people, not too far back, but maybe like two people behind, using the 70-200, I think. And I know just when you're touring with someone so often, you know not necessarily what's going to happen, but you kind of do. You kind of guess and gauge where the performance is going to go if you're with someone, so often. I'm assuming in this point I would have been ready and I knew exactly what she was about to do. I know, honestly, when she's happiest during her set, and that's when I was just a couple of people back and I was like, all right, I'm ready to go. So I would have shot like 20 photos in set 5 seconds. And, like Jen said, I think I sent her like when I did the Dropbox, it was probably like 5 photos really similar, just like that, just so she gets one at least that she really likes, because I did like that being almost a portrait, you know, further back. So
Love.
Do you both intentionally shoot, like, do you feel like it's unusual to shoot portrait style live? Because I find it really unique, to be honest, when I see a photo like that.
I don't know if it's intentional. I know, like, I do really love this particular style. Oh my God, can I just say there's like a hype train of subscriptions happening at the moment, which I just have to mention because it's just going crazy and people are subscribing, and I just wanted to say thank you so much. Oh my God, it's just... it's all in my, I hear it in my ears as well. So it's like there's music and we're at the level 2 hype train at the moment. We're 50% away from the full hype train, so it's going crazy right now. Choo, thank you so much. Oh my God, so amazing. You guys are awesome. We're so close to the goal. I'm dying. Yeah. Oh my God, it's still coming. Oh my God, you guys rock. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting the stream. This is really cool. Hopefully it means you're appreciative of the content with these lovely ladies today, which are really, you know, sharing a lot of the inside knowledge, which is so cool. Yeah, I like to get similar photos of Rule, actually. It's one of my favorite things to do. A shot that looks like a portrait that's been taken on stage.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't, my brain is, yeah.
I know there's a lot of stuff
There's a lot of subs going on. Thank you, everybody. I've got all hot and flustered and all overwhelmed, so thank you. But yeah, I also like to take those particular kind of style live shots that look like portraits there. I think... Yeah. Oh my God, it's still going. It's still going. We just reached the 100% hype train level 2. Incredible. My God. Oh my God. We're just
amazing.
What the hell? Oh my God.
There's a lot of things. There's stickers. What are those little things that pop up on the
screen? So that every time that happens, it means someone subscribed to the channel. So there's just a lot happening at the moment.
Yeah. This is my first time on Twitch at all ever.
Yeah, so the explosion is somebody that's subscribed, and then the emotes that come up from the bottom, they're just oh my God, it's just still going. Oh my God, you guys rock. This is so good. Holy shit, I'm like actually like sweating. This is so amazing.
That's great. I don't 100% understand, but it looks very exciting.
Thank you. It is, it's called a hype train. So there's been enough subscribers that it's gone crazy. So thank you for providing such great content that people obviously are really loving because they're subscribing, which is so cool. This is so cool.
Love it.
I'll move on to the next photo while we're still, this is beautiful. I really like this shot. Yes, I don't know if you guys can see that yet, but it's another one, another gorgeous. I love that you've got these Vans in your hand too, Jenna. It's so great.
Yeah. Last day of Warped, right? The last photo, pretty much.
Oh, okay, it's just come up. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, this does tell a story. Absolutely. The last song of our set on Warped and on the Underworld touring was Temple. Was our final song, and it just kind of. Oh, it's really symbolic. Like that song, I feel like captures what Tonight Alive is, and it's the best representation of us as a band, I feel. And like playing it last was so cool. And this is the last show of Warped, so it must have been, let's say there were like, I don't know, up to 50 shows, and I just took my shoes off at the end of every set and had a dance on stage, and it felt really good because I'd make a speech about the inner child and how the child inside you, like there's a child inside that still exists, and talking about, you know, shadow work and what the underworld is, which is, you know, the place in your subconscious where you have rejected yourself, and like and the album was about healing that. So playing with the inner child and like, you know, stopping that shunning that happens to the parts of you that you okay.
Sorry, somebody has just gifted like a bunch of subs. all-time mom has just gifted like 5 subs.
That's
Oh,
gorgeous,
that's
Justine.
so beautiful. Thank you so much. And we've just reached the goal. And we've exceeded the goal, the monthly goal, which has just blown me away. Thank you so much. This is a really special stream. Thank you. It's insane.
Beautiful.
Really beautiful.
That's so sick.
Claps
Thank
all
you,
around.
everyone.
Thank you. Thanks for everyone that's tuned in. This is awesome. This is so cool. Sorry to interrupt, Jenna. It's just...
I don't mind. So yeah, just like allowing the part of you that you've been embarrassed of and that you've shunned or that's been rejected or criticized and all of the negative things that, you know, have happened to parts of you that really didn't deserve that kind of abuse. So this is a song about, I mean, that was a part of the set, using that song for that purpose of like really getting people to like let the fuck go. And that's what I did as well. And the best, like, if you want a reaction from your audience, like you have to show them that it's possible to express to that level, or to let go to that level. So that's what had just happened. Also, you can't see that. Oh, you can. Under that white flag, there's a stack of speakers, which is a lot higher than you can tell. That would have been like 3 meters high. And I climbed that, had a little dance on there, came down, finished the set. Like, I just love that Jordan, she was always in the right place at the right time. Like, no joke. I don't know how you pulled it off. I know there were so many opportunities to learn how to do that. And I guess that's all a photographer can do, is just be there, keep going, like do as many shows, do as many shoots. Like you just was right there where like we needed to be for like a money shot like that. It's dope. I love the framing. I love that I'm like blowing a kiss to the crowd. I'm holding my shoes. It's the last show. Like it's really a celebratory moment. I feel like you can feel that in the photo. I'm not sure if people know, like.
So. And do you have any memories about this moment, Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, well, kind of going with what Jen said as well. Definitely, half of the time was pure luck. I was just there. Maybe it's subconsciously. I knew like I don't know what it was. I've always said, me and Jen have always felt this like much deeper connection because of what we've gone through and how our life is in that world was so similar. And I don't know, maybe subconsciously I just felt energy sometimes. I knew there was going to be something happening, and I just knew, you know, like I said, sometimes I think it was luck, but other times I think kind of going back into how important it is to know your artist and know the person you're working for. Personally, especially if you can get hired, obviously you're hired on with somebody. I think that's one of the most important things as an artist that you can do for your photos or videos is continuing to grow a relationship with a photographer or a videographer, because you do get that personal time with them to explain, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. You learn with each other and you learn how to be creative. So I think as far as going back to this photo in particular, it's just it is super important to know and trust the person you're working with. And I think that showed through all the years that we were working. It's a really obviously a good professional relationship, but our relationship as, you know, basically sisters is I was able to find spots that she liked. I knew where it was that she was going to be going. I don't know. It's just important to have that trust with if you can. Obviously, not all people, especially now as a photographer or videographer, you may not get that opportunity, but that's the most important thing is to really try and get to know who's going to be in front of your camera, no matter how long you get to have that time with.
Oh my God, it's still coming in these subscriptions, but I wanted to just, I'm just quite overwhelmed. It's like, it's just crazy. I think we're just up to 85, which is wild. I really wanted to touch on that point, Jordan. I think that's a really, really great point. It's something that I think it's actually really intuitive. I really feel it now with Rule and have been working with him for so long. It becomes intuitive. Like I know where he's going to go. I know angles. I know the shots that he likes. Like it becomes like mental telepathy almost. Like he says to me, he knows where I am even though he's not looking at me. Like we've got that connection now that it's just like, it's a really beautiful relationship, and it's really obvious that you guys have that as well. Like,
yeah, that's it. You said it though. That's what it is. You just, you are with someone so much, you know them so well. I feel like the energies are just connected so much that you don't have to tell someone something. You're just there and you can feel that presence. And I think Jen and I definitely had that, you know, that whole time we were touring, it felt like that, you know.
Were you going to add? So I was sensed that you wanted to add something. Yeah.
No, thanks. I just wanted to say, because there's probably people listening that it's like, fuck, I've never had the opportunity to develop that kind of relationship with someone, or photographers that haven't toured, so you don't get that extended opportunity. And I think, like, I'm just imagining, just from my perspective, like developing a relationship with a photographer or another crew member is like, it's the type of person that they are will also really facilitate the relationship and the safety. So like, being flexible is something that you're so good at, Jordan. Being flexible with time schedule or with requests or, you know, critiques. Also, you were really good at holding space. Like, you were very selfless in the touring environment. It was very much like you were very accommodating to us. And that developed that trust of like, I can be in whatever state, I can ask anything. She's not ever going to bite my head off. She's never going to feel like insecure and like less than because I said, hey, or maybe don't do that angle or whatever. Like, being open, flexible, relaxed, and like, holding space was just so amazing. Like, I think it's such a credit to you, like to have been able to do that and to be so accommodating, because I'm in such a different position to you where like I have to be quite selfish with touring, but like as a photographer you're such like a supporting member of the crew, so that really facilitates relationship as well.
Yeah, and adding to that very quickly, you held the space for me to be like that, so thank you as well, because that's important. It's a two-way street. It's if I'm feeling down, I know I can go straight to you, and that's the kind of relationship you want with your client, or obviously your client can become someone who's your best friend. You know, it's that kind. Once again, it's showing that relationship is so important, and that's how you can get those really good moments. And like you said, maybe you don't have the opportunity to do something like that yet, as a photographer or videographer, but as much as you possibly can, be the type of person who wants to get to know the person that's in front of you.
Available. Like, you can't push it.
Yeah.
You could never have forced it, and forcing it would probably push the person away. So it really is just an availability to the potential of a relationship that's going to help. Yeah,
intuition and everything.
So I loved hearing both of you talk about this. I think it's such a unique perspective to get the artist and the photographer talking like this. It's like you usually hear, you know, one side of this particular story, which is really great. Danny's just had to pop out of the stream, but she had a question that I just wanted to ask now. And we're going to talk about this next photo as well, but are there any other photographer band relationships that you admire, or any other female photographers that you have got your eye on and really admire their work? I think that's a really great question that I just wanted to touch on, and then we'll move to this next photo, which is really cool as well.
Yeah, it's incredible nowadays. I was saying, on Warped Tour 2018, there were an influx of females on that tour compared to the last Warped Tours that I've ever done. And it was incredible getting to see. I became really close with Beth on that tour, awesome. Who's such an incredible photographer, and Ashley as well. There's just like these vibes now that the female photographers, it's like banding together, and it's to see how that is. I and you as well, obviously. I'm so bad. I don't love getting on the internet. I'm not good at it. I'm not very good. I've been trying really hard over the last year to be really active on social media, but I just don't go out and seek things. But that is something I've wanted to change, because community is so important. Totally. And when I think it was Adam who I can't remember who exactly it was. We were talking, and your name had come up, Michelle, and I was like, oh, I've heard of this name before. Anyways, I went to your profile, and it's beautiful work as well. It's just really nice to have this like female community here,
Yeah.
and Maggie too.
Yeah, Maggie's awesome.
Maggie and Beth have a
Yes.
they have
A Twitch as well. Yeah.
Twitch as well. And I actually haven't really spoken to Maggie because she's actually been in my life and Jen's life for a while too. And I remember seeing her kind of just starting out a while back, and I was like, oh wow, she's got beautiful work. And then it showed up again when I saw Beth and her, and I was like, incredible, insane. Yes. Like I think she's moved to America, in New York, and is doing amazing work too. It's cool to be able to see someone kind of start their journey and then to see like later on where they're at, and it just like blows your mind of how awesome work can be. But yeah, a lot of really awesome female photographers coming out.
Yes,
nowadays.
There's actually
really
a
cool.
lot in this stream. It's one of the things I really like to, especially in Australia, I really like to nurture the female photography community. It was something that just was non-existent when I started. So I really like giving advice and mentoring in this space. And there's so many that are in the chat today, which is really great. So I won't name everybody, but you all know who you are. You're all amazing. And
really
yes.
Great names too. I'm
you recognize, yeah.
Female.
It's just,
and Ruby as well.
Yes, Ruby's amazing. Yeah, exactly. Britt, there's so many, Lucinda, so many great photographers in here. It's great.
Everything.
So many. Yay. Jenna, did you have anything to add, or should we talk about this next photo, which I love, by the way?
Happy to talk about the picture.
Yeah, cool.
I'll just say that one of the things I love about this photo is the fact that like a third of the photo is taken up by the back of someone's head, and you don't even notice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't even look at it. I don't. I mean, I'll look at me. I look at myself
but it's that crowd perspective. It's like you're in the crowd, so you're looking through that person that would be in front of you, but you don't. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's like you stitch the rest of the photo in that space. I don't know. There's just, even though there's not one like attention point, you can't even see my eyes. There's so many. You could draw so many lines. Like all that energy is going like inward to the center of that picture, and that's just something I love about it. And come to think of it, now that we're talking like about the actual photography aspect of it, and it's not just a photo, of me, it's like I'd be interested to see what the unedited version of this looks like, because the fact that it's so golden and crisp and gorgeous, like that's how I now remember that moment. That's how I remember those shows and what touring was like. It might have not looked as magical before it was edited. It's just so cool that like once your perspective goes over it in your editing process, it then becomes like it's the time capsule of that moment.
Yes.
I just
love
say that.
Photos here, that's really cool. I think being able to understand that I've seen all the raw edits of this, and I forget that maybe all you've seen in that moment is the full edited version of it, and that's how you remember it, and that is really cool to me, because it's like I can put that memory to be this like very golden memory, so I've placed that in your head, even though it probably was a sunset. Show at that point. It looks like it's got quite a golden hour look to it, which is cool.
And
that's a cool perspective.
Your editing process, someone asked about it before, in terms of how long that you spend on edits, which is such a great question, because I think that unless you're toured, you don't understand like how little time you have often to do like a lot of photos. Do you want to talk about your process a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So it was a huge learning curve to try and figure out what was going to be the easiest thing, what could I'm sorry, someone's cooking. Let me just close the door.
No worries, go for it. It's a different process for everybody, so it's always great to hear the process. It's really cool.
Yeah. So like I was saying, it was a big learning curve trying to figure out what was going to save me time. Your biggest thing when you're on tour is trying to be healthy and do your job right. So being healthy is sleeping at good hours and not eating at terrible hours, which is something that tour is known for. Basically, you're eating at like 3 a.m., you know, and you're up until almost the sun's up. So it's hard as a photographer to figure out when you should start your editing, how long you should spend on each photo. My biggest thing is I'm a perfectionist, so I probably spend a little too long on everything, which is fine. It's maybe I should. That's something I've always worked on as well. But I usually start when I'm on tour. I start editing pretty much straight away after the show is finished. But the thing is I want to continue to stay in those moments. So I normally try and edit around, you know, the band or whoever is there, just so I can capture things just in case I'm there. I want to, those behind the scenes moments are so important. So anyways, I'm there in the moment editing. And I do, I kind of have a weird longer process of, I go through all of my photos before I start editing them, which I know a lot of people do a lot of different things. I know people do selects when they're shooting. I know oftentimes people will star something, which I still do sometimes. If I know for a fact that I'm gonna love a photo so much, I'll star it or rate it on my camera. That way I know I can edit that one first and send it straight away because I know it's one of my favorites. So sometimes I do that. Most of the time it's me sitting there going through hundreds of photos, because I am, like we were saying, we're both overshooters, which can be annoying most of the time, but then you go back into it and you have a photo of someone who's blinking, but you know you have that next photo right afterwards, that second later. So it is important to do that, I think, even though it makes you have harder, or it makes your work harder for you. But I think after I do my selects, that's the longest process. I think that can usually take up to like 45 minutes to an hour for me, is just doing the selects, which is really annoying. And I know people do it differently, but I really physically want to see every single photo. As I said, I'm a perfectionist, so I think I want to see everything.
Cool.
Once that's finished, that's the longest process. But once that's finished, I feel like I established my editing style quite early on, and I feel like I really loved doing warmer photos regardless. So I kind of tweaked my own preset and had like a couple of them, like 3 or 4 of them set to the side that I know I'll do during live shows or outside or whatever.
Totally.
So I'll do my selects, come through when I'm developing everything, which I use Lightroom. I sometimes can use Photoshop, but I'm a Lightroom gal. I like to keep it pretty simple, keep it raw, and have usually what's there is what's there for the most part for the photos. I admire people who can really do Photoshop. I'm not that person. I wish I could be that person. Maybe one day we'll learn that. But anyway, so it could take anywhere up to like maybe 30 minutes afterwards to do my developing on each photo. I don't like to spend too much time on each photo once I've picked it out. I'll put my own personal preset on it. If there's a few imperfections, I'll deal with that. If it's like blemishes or, you know, whatever, if I need to take a little something out. I don't like to spend more than like a minute on each photo. That's pretty long. So it's, once I like those photos, usually I can put a preset over everything for the most part, and then kind of go through and tweak each one. That's my quicker process, but that's the most exciting because I've honed in on
the shots
ones that I know.
Cool.
So so like maybe an hour and a half ish after shows. Do photos and then send them off.
There's a few people that have, Maggie mentioned Photo Mechanic, which she uses. I edit, I select and edit all at the same time, and I've got it into a really fast process. I can pretty much do a gig under an hour, just doing all of it at once. So selecting, and if it's a shot that I know that's in, put the color grade on that I've selected, tweak, off we go. And I probably spend about 20 seconds on a photo, maybe 30 seconds?
That's
like
very
super fast?
Absolutely. I know people can do it
Yeah.
so fast, and it's really inspiring for me to see because it forces me to not be so much of a perfectionist, because for the most part, that photo's there. I know I'm going to like it. I don't need to spend that much time. So I know all this is, it is going to be helpful regardless. Plus it gets the photos faster to, you know,
everybody
as well, which is really important.
Yeah, I was just going to say everyone has their process, and if there's something that you really like, let's say there's 5 absolute money shots that then you could either pull them into Photoshop or like do extra kind of tweaks to those ones. But for the bulk, like if I'm delivering 100 photos a night, I want to get through those really quickly. I want Rule to be able to see them really quickly. If they want to post that night, I want them to, you know, or the band wants to post, I want them to have that option. So it's just interesting to see how everybody does it. Everybody has their own style. It's really cool.
It's smart. It's important to be quick as a photographer or videographer on tour, because people are curious to see what the show is going to be like straight away afterwards. They wanted to see what that, especially the bigger shows. I mean, it's important to get those photos back very quickly to your client, which is, I think nowadays people are pretty much, I think people are getting the photos to them the night of. Like for the most part, that's what photographers
are expected
to do on tour now, which is really good. It's important.
Totally.
Yeah.
I just want to move through the last 3 photos because I want to wrap it up probably in about 15 minutes. So there's a couple of more photos here. This is a great mirror shot. Jenna, did you want to speak about this one?
Yeah. This is before we played London, Coco, for the Underworld album cycle, like tour. And I would do a yellow stripe with paint and chalk just on my forehead and under my chin, I think, down my neck. And it's kind of a personal time, you know, when you're putting on your makeup. Jordan took a lot of photos of me when I was doing my makeup or barefoot or like stretching, and I always loved those photos. But one of my favorite things that you did, Jordy, was like you'd shoot as if you were a fly on the wall. I feel like this photo has that, like, I don't know you're there kind of feel. I really like that. There's another photo in the last 3, I think, that will show up as well, where you've shot slightly like from outside of, actually I don't know how to explain it myself. It looks like you're not even in the room. You know what I mean?
See if it's up next. Maybe it's the next one.
That's important though. As a photographer, I think being a fly on the wall is definitely like an important thing in my eyes, because that's how I feel like I kind of explained at the beginning that my photography experience started with the band and Jen, but I wasn't completely correct. I did do a lot of like family portrait sessions, and I actually started doing weddings before I worked with Tonight Live. So I learned in a way where I kind of had to be a fly on the wall situation, especially with weddings. You know, you're 2 very different personalities when you do weddings. You are a leader, you're basically the planner in one sense, but then you have to be super respectful to everyone at the wedding who is enjoying a situation where they're not used to seeing photographers all the time. So I'm a big distraction when I'm walking around, so I have to be very careful and be that fly on the wall. So I think capturing those moments before I started working with a band was like a lovely, beautiful moment that felt like I wasn't there, was so important. And so when I brought that into working with Tonight Live, I think that's all I knew at the time. And then I just kind of ran with that. I just really loved capturing those raw, natural moments that you would, a photographer isn't on the other side. You just are looking at someone, you know, being there and living in that moment.
Yeah, you really, I mean, I love this particular shot, which is, I think, looking through a window of Jenna. It's like you've just captured her essence and beauty, and it's so stunning. It's really, really beautiful. So, but I agree. I really love those fly on the wall moments. I think, especially when it's, you know, behind the scenes, it's the moments that you're kind of bringing the fans into the world, you know. It's just that those really special moments that they wouldn't usually get to see. So I love those. It's really cool. I love this shot, Jenna. You look so beautiful.
Hi, thanks.
Yeah, it's really gorgeous.
Yeah, it was such a nice moment when we got that photo.
Yeah, there's one more photo. I think I just this one, which is so good. It's so powerful and awesome and feminine and just everything. It's awesome. It's great. Do you want to talk about this, Jenna?
It hasn't come up for me yet. Is it
you have a 7-second delay, so it'll be up in a sec.
No sweat. Actually, what's funny about it's come up. This photo is like Dale said. This is actually reminiscent of the photo you took of me, Michelle, the day we met.
Oh yes,
with the red
with the blood. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So he's like, that's really
interesting. Beautiful photo. Yeah.
Yeah. This is on the video set. I had no voice that day. I couldn't talk. Like no sound was coming out because we just finished the Australian tour and played the Corner Hotel the night before, and it was actually kind of like I couldn't believe I sang a show when I couldn't talk. It was kind of nuts. It's kind of like a miracle. Anyway, this is the music video, and I guess I just chose this photo because I don't look at really like anyone like that. You know? It's just me in character, and like. Once again, a lot of the photos I chose are to showcase the safety relationship that I have with Jordan. And to look down the barrel of lens like that is pretty hard to do.
Yeah, there's a lot of trust. Yeah, totally.
Definitely.
Yeah, you can really see, it's actually a really similar expression. I can see why you've compared it to the one that we took, but there's that element of trust. It's in your eyes, like it's very visible to me. It's really beautiful.
Super raw.
Yeah.
And just kind of full on. Like it's abrasive and gentle.
Yes. So good. Do you have memories of this shot, Jordan, when you took this?
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say, I was a really cool part of like working with Jen is you get two very different sides of this with her. It's like super power, superwoman. I'm here to change the whole world, and I'm here is what it is. And you have that, and it's amazing to get to photograph that power in a woman. It's just amazing. So you have that side, and then you got the side where it's silly, sweet little Jenny girl who's, if you would never imagine her being that person with this person. So it's like really cool to get two dynamics, which is obviously goes back to the same thing we've been talking about. It's that relationship and trust with somebody. You get to get that really awesome, confident, powerful side of someone in a situation where it is really hard to be like that. On a music video set, you're literally an actress. Like that's you. I mean, I can't imagine what it's like to sit in front of a camera and have to perform fully. There's no crowd, there's no people, it's just a camera. So it's cool to see. I liked being behind the scenes for that kind of stuff, but I also think it's really important and was really important to get those portraits when like Jen was in this mood. It was capturing that moment while she was still like performing almost as. So it's cool. I that video shoot was really cool, and I think a lot of video shoots tend to be like that. You see a confident side of someone come out, but it's almost like striking because I can imagine having to perform like that.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, it's a weird talent that I don't know how to do it. I don't understand it, but it's really cool to see and get to capture.
Totally.
That kind of thing.
Oh, I love this chat so much. There's such beautiful comments as well. It's really been awesome. I'm going to wrap it up soon. Are there any other questions before we go? Just chuck them in the chat. We've probably got time for maybe 2 or 3 questions. I'm just going to show some more of the stuff on your website as well, which was from the Vans Warped Tour. Definitely wanted to thank you both for your time. It's exactly what I thought that it would be, and I'm really glad that it's all come together and you've shared so openly and so beautifully, because it's something that's not that spoken about, and I feel like it's really important in my work, so I wanted to explore that with other photographer-artist relationships as well. Jared's got a question for Jenna. Does looking back at these photos and reminiscing of tour make you miss being on the road? That's a good question.
Yeah, it does a little bit, but it also, what I get from reflecting is that it looks really glamorous in the photo. A great photographer can make like that venue, you can tell is really small. That's in Berlin, and I feel like that was kind of like a 50-person show, like wow. Really grimy venue, like smelt like smoke, and a great photographer can make any show kind of look really, really special, and they are special emotionally, but like it's pretty gritty, grimy stuff being on the road. But I do, the photo that's on the screen for me right now, at least, is like intense and like emotional. It's all connective and like bright lights and loud music and emotional lyrics and the relationships, and it's epic. Like that part of touring and being an artist, I do love. I love expressing myself, and like I love getting to dance and sing and embody a character as well, like, which is what I did on the Underworld cycle. I wasn't always like that, so I do love touring. I do miss it, but I'd like to more sustainably and healthfully in the future.
Shelley's had a great question. This might be the last question we've got time for, but how does the relationship work when you're off tour? Is it more personal or work only? Can it be both? I think I know the answer to this, but I'd love to hear you talk about that.
I guess we can switch. Like, we know when we're talking on a friend basis and we're talking professionally. Like, I haven't sent you a professional email for so long, Geordie, but like the other day I sent you these photos and said, hey, would you mind touching this up, and and like, you have to not feel guilty that you're asking someone to do something in a professional sense for you. And but we always pick up where we left off. I think going through touring and like formative years and stuff like that, and our particular circumstances within the crew together, it means we can always pick up where we left off, and there's never really a gap. It doesn't matter that we haven't seen each other for 2 years, because I don't feel like a thing's changed. So certain experiences really people.
I think that's the thing that I really wanted to touch on with this question with Shelley. It's a genuine friendship. I think that, like, it's not just a tour relationship that you have. Like, these bonds are really, really special, and even more deep, I think, because you literally living with the people like 24/7, and somebody wants to come up. So sorry, just got to get Jenna. She wants to come up.
Hey, Jenna.
She wanted to come up. Oh, she's so sweet. But they're very, very genuine friendships. Like, they're very, very special friendships that you make with your tour buddies, I think. Hey, Justin, I just saw Justin jumped in the chat as well. How you going?
When they're not, that's when you feel so displaced, and you feel that, I'm imagining those are the settings that you would really miss home, and you'd feel alone, and you'd feel this is a drag, this is too hard, this is too much. But like, when you form safety nets within your touring crew and relationships, it's like you are home in those settings. And it's really hard actually coming off tour when it's for short periods of time, because you don't feel like you're home anymore.
Totally.
It's bittersweet. I think you get excited because you can be home and have a routine and be healthy, but then it's just weird. As soon as you hit home, it just feels like empty. There's not that like your energy that you have shared with someone or a group of people for days and days, every hour of every day is being split up. So it's like definitely something spiritual is going on, where it's like that connection, you're just empty feeling for for me, it's like a whole week or 2 weeks sometimes. It's
Totally. Thanks for all the Jetta emotes. We've got a little special emote for Jetta when she's on the stream, so that was very cute. It's like a little special like little cutout of Jetta's head that everybody puts in the chat whenever she appears. But that's all we have time for, guys. I wanted to thank you so much. Thank you so much for this wonderful chat. This was really special. I really loved every minute of it. And if you girls want to pop your socials in the chat too, so if people are not following you, they can now follow you. There's a really lovely community here of people, so I know that they'll all jump on board and support you. So
Thank you. Well, I don't have a Twitch account, so I can't
comment. Oh, that's okay. I can put your I'll put your Instagram in there.
Thanks.
That's okay.
Great. I'm excited to see both talking tomorrow with Adam.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
a great thing to mention. We're both on Adam Elmachias's chat. It's all girls too, which is really cool. I've missed.
Oh.
Hang on, where are you? I've got the wrong one. There we go. Got it. I'm trying to find this. So many different screens. I'll find your Instagram, Jenna, and put it in the chat. But yeah, that is what is it? It's 7 a.m. Melbourne time. I know that 7 a.m. tomorrow. I don't know what the time is. It 2 p.m.
2, I think, 2 p.m. LA.
At 2 p.m. LA.
Specific.
Perfect.
That'll be fantastic.
That's going to be a really fun one. Yeah. It's,
Yeah. Girls, lots of females.
Yes, so many females. Yes, thank you so much again. I really appreciate it. Yes, with Adam tomorrow morning. Yeah. Thanks so much, girls. I'll sign off now. Really appreciate you taking the time. Thanks to everyone in the chat. And I can't believe we smashed the subscriber goal. I don't think I've ever had so many subscriptions in one stream before. I'm so grateful. It's actually just warmed my heart that you guys are getting a lot out of this content. It's super appreciate. Thank you so much. Big hearts to you all. I'll see you guys in the Discord group. There's a Discord group for this particular tweet too. So hearts, yay!
Love you too.
Yes, love you too.
Talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much for coming. We'll catch you soon.
Okay, everyone.
Okay.